Hey everyone. Tonight we drift not through gunfire or glory, but into a world half awake, half frozen where exhaustion became the truest weapon. Imagine a bunker deep beneath the ruins of a city, the ceiling dripping, the air thick with smoke and the scent of oil. Outside, bombs fall like rain, but inside, dozens of soldiers try to sleep sitting up, rifles across their knees, helmets as pillows. Some dream of home, others dream of nothing at all. You've heard about great offensives and decisive victories, but this war wasn't fought in daylight. It was fought in the hours between sirens, in the silence between explosions, in the shallow breaths of men too tired to fear death. If you've ever wondered how the world tried to rest while it burned, hit like and subscribe. Tell me, where are you listening from? And what keeps you awake at night tonight? We descend into the sleepless war. You are there, in a world where the very concept of stillness has been erased. This isn't a war of static lines or predictable routines. It's a relentless current, always moving, always demanding. You feel the ground beneath your boots constantly shifting. Whether you're being jostled in the back of a canvas-covered truck, trudging through churned earth, or simply waiting for the next order to surge forward. There are no true front lines, only zones of intense activity that ebb and flow like a fever dream. The rumble of distant engines, the low thrum of aircraft overhead, the endless convoy stretching for miles down a shattered road, these are the constant companions of your days and nights. You understand, deep in your bones, that this war doesn't pause for anything, least of all for sleep. You learn quickly to snatch moments of rest wherever your body collapses. Perhaps it's in the cramped, metal belly of a transport truck, the vibrations rocking you like a harsh lullaby. The air is heavy with the smell of diesel and too many bodies. But still, your eyelids grow heavy. You lean against a stranger, feeling the warmth of another exhausted soul, and for a few precious minutes, the world outside fades into a dull roar. Or perhaps you find yourself slumping against the damp wall of a trench, the clay cool against your cheek, the scent of wet earth and distant cordite filling your nostrils. Your rifle lies across your lap, a cold, familiar weight. The sky above is a sliver of gray, always watchful. You might even stumble into the skeletal remains of a church, its roof long gone, its stained glass shattered into glittering dust on the floor. Here, amidst the echoes of sacred space, you find a moment of eerie calm. You sink onto a stone slab, or perhaps a splintered pew, the air smelling of old wood and the dust of ages. It's an unlikely bedroom. But the silence, broken only by the drip of the water or the faint whisper of wind through broken arches, offers a brief, fragile peace. And sometimes, in the raw aftermath of an engagement, you find yourself beside a smoldering wreck, the acrid smoke stinging your eyes, but the residual warmth a strange comfort against the creeping chill. The dying embers cast a faint orange glow, mirroring the constant fires that paint the nights. Rest rarely comes in a bed, in the soft embrace of sheets. Instead, it arrives in stolen minutes, ambushing you when your guard is down, when your body simply can no longer fight the pull. You close your eyes, and the darkness behind them is never truly dark. It's often faintly orange, reflecting the pervasive glow of distant fires, too bright to truly dream, too dim to decipher the words in the crumpled letter you carry in your pocket. The constant hum of engines, whether planes, tanks, or trucks, becomes the new lullaby of your world. And then there are the explosions, sharp and sudden, becoming the brutal clock that marks the passage of your nights. Each blast is a jolt, a reminder, even as your mind craves oblivion. You breathe in the smells of this war, the metallic tang of blood, the sharp bite of cordite from spent ammunition, the heavy scent of gun oil, and the ever-present damp wool of your uniform. These are the perfumes of your sleep. In the tattered pages of diaries, you read the words of others, echoing your own experience. Sleep doesn't come, it just ambushes us. Even in these fitful moments of unconsciousness, your body remains tense, ready. You twitch, a phantom limb moving as if in response to an unheard command. In your mind's eye, you're still marching, still scanning the horizon, still carrying the weight of the day. No one in this war truly sleeps deeply. You simply learn to sleep differently, adapting to a world where the entire planet seems to be fighting an endless battle against insomnia. The quiet moments are rare, precious, and always temporary. You are now deep within the scarred heart of Europe, where bombed-out cities rise like skeletal giants against the bruised sky. What were once homes, shops, and grand boulevards are now makeshift barracks, temporary havens in a world turned to rubble. A shattered cathedral, its stained glass eyes staring blankly at the heavens, becomes a vast, echoing bedroom for hundreds of men. You walk through these spectral ruins, the crunch of broken stone beneath your boots, a constant, mournful sound. Every shadow seems to hold a memory. Every gust of wind whispers of what was lost. Survival dictates that you burrow deep, seeking refuge where the earth offers some protection. You descend into cellars and basements, the air growing heavier with each step down. Here, in the damp, cool darkness, you curl up amidst the debris, sometimes mere feet from where a wall collapsed, burying those who once lived above. The air in these underground bunkers is a thick, unsettling brew. You breathe in the stale scent of sweat, the acrid sharpness of gun oil, the musty dampness of ancient stone, and the pervasive, cloying tang of fear. It clings to everything, a constant companion. Then there are the rats. They are bold, unafraid of the humans who now share their subterranean domain. You hear the rustle of their movements, a faint scuttling sound that becomes part of the background noise of your existence. You feel their tiny, cold feet scampering along the tops of your boots, or perhaps even across the blanket you've pulled tight. Yet, you don't move. No one does. To stir is to acknowledge them, to break the fragile truce of shared misery. You lie perfectly still, breath held, pretending they aren't there, or perhaps simply too exhausted to care. Your helmet, a hard, unforgiving piece of steel, doubles as a pillow, offering a meager comfort against the unforgiving ground. Your rifle, your constant companion, lies across your chest, its cold metal against your uniform. It's not just a weapon. It's a connection, a reassurance of presence, a small measure of safety in contact. You are among the fortunate if you find a few sandbags to soften your resting place. Many others stretch out on bare, frozen mud or on sharp, unforgiving rubble, each stone pressing into weary flesh. Each distant thud from above sends a shiver through the ground, a low vibration that resonates in your chest. It's another bomb, another explosive whisper of fate. You lie there, listening, your mind numbly calculating the seconds, wondering if this will be the one that rips through the ceiling, bringing the concrete down around you. You recall the words of one German soldier, etched in a diary you once saw. We slept in the dust of the dead. It was the only place left, and you understand. Even when, miraculously, a fragile silence descends upon the city, a quiet that feels almost unnatural, you hesitate to close your eyes. Silence is never truly safe here. It's a trick, a pause before the next onslaught. Under the earth, you learn a profound and unsettling truth. Peace and suffocation can feel remarkably similar. The lack of sound, the heavy air, the compressed space, it all combines into a sensation that borders on drowning. You lie there, suspended between the hope of quiet and the dread of what it might precede. Your mind struggling to find true oblivion beneath the weight of the war-torn world. You are now on the Eastern Front, where the very air you breathe is a weapon, where the wind bites with the ferocity of a wild beast. Winter here isn't merely a season, it's an enemy, more relentless and unforgiving than any bullet. The temperature plunges far below zero, making every breath a visible plume of vapor, every movement a struggle against a profound, bone-deep cold. You feel it seep into your boots, creep up your uniform, and settle in your bones. Your blankets, meant to offer warmth, become stiff and unyielding, frozen solid overnight, crackling like brittle paper when you try to move. A thick layer of frost coats everything your beard is stiff with ice, turning your breath into tiny white crystals. Your rifle, a lifeline, is slick with rime. Even your eyelids, when you dare to close them, acquire a fragile sheen of ice, making the simple act of opening them a small, painful effort. The world around you is a landscape of white and gray, silent save for the hiss of the wind and the faint groan of the frozen earth. To combat this lethal cold, you learn to sleep in pairs. Strangers pressed impossibly close, sharing the precious, diminishing warmth of human contact. You feel the shallow rise and fall of another chest against your back. Hear the faint, ragged rhythm of their breath. See the delicate plumes of fog mixing with your own in the frigid air. It's an intimacy born of desperation, a primal need for survival. You know that to sleep too long, to succumb entirely to the crushing weight of exhaustion, is to risk never waking. The body, when it becomes too cold, stops shivering, that vital tremor ceasing as the core temperature drops. That cessation, you understand, is the first insidious step toward death. You fight against it, willing your muscles to tremble, to generate just a little more heat. To stay alive, you become a scavenger of warmth. Fences, once marking the boundaries of forgotten farms, are ripped apart and fed to meager fires. Religious icons, salvaged from abandoned churches, are sacrificed to the flames, their painted faces flickering in the hungry light. Even furniture, splintered and broken, becomes fuel. The smoke stings your eyes, but the warmth, however fleeting, is a blessing, a brief reprieve from the merciless grip of the cold. The snow, a constant presence, blankets everything. It buries the foxholes you've painstakingly dug, turning your meager shelters into fragile cocoons. Sometimes, it buries the sleepers inside, a silent, white tomb. You dream, when sleep finally comes, of warmth of a roaring fire, of a hearth, of a mother's embrace. But often, these dreams are brutally interrupted. You wake screaming, the agonizing pain of frostbite searing through your extremities. A stark reminder that even in slumber, the enemy finds you. You chew frozen bread, a rock-hard sustenance that scrapes against your gums. The crunch as your teeth break through the icy crust is a harsh sound, the sound of survival, of a body pushed to its absolute limits. You recall the words of a Red Army private, scrawled in a diary. "We sleep standing, our souls already kneel." It's a chilling phrase, capturing the essence of this place. Here, on the frozen front, sleep is not a release, but a surrender, a dangerous flirtation with the final, eternal cold. You fight it with every fiber of your being, knowing that to truly give in is to cease to be. Now you find yourself on the Western Front, where the nights refuse to be truly dark. The very air pulses with an eerie, artificial luminescence, flares, launched high into the sky, burst into blinding white stars, illuminating the desolate landscape for agonizing minutes. They turn the night into a vast, silent theater of grotesque shadows, transforming the familiar contours of the trenches into glowing, molten glass, catching the glint of helmets and the sheen of mud. The world is laid bare, then plunges back into a relative, uncertain darkness, only to be lit again moments later. You learn to doze in the brief, agonizing pauses between artillery barrages. Your mind, stretched to its breaking point, becomes attuned to the rhythm of destruction. The whistle, the explosion, the rumble, then a lull. In those precious seconds, your head drops, your eyes flutter shut, and your consciousness dissolves into a fragile, ephemeral dream. But these dreams are never allowed to fully form. Each detonation rips through them, shattering the nascent images, jolting you awake with a start, your heart pounding a frantic rhythm against your ribs. The ground itself trembles beneath you, a constant, unsettling tremor. Whole platoons, utterly consumed by exhaustion, simply collapse where they stand or where they've fallen. You find yourself slumped in rubble, your head resting on the warm, solid back of a comrade. It's a strange, shared burden, this collective weariness. You stop caring about the fine dust that coats everything, the shrapnel that hisses overhead, or even the omnipresent threat of death. Fatigue numbs everything, dulling the sharp edges of fear, blurring the lines of self-preservation. There's a quiet resignation that settles deep within your soul. You remember reading a stark, haunting line from a letter written by a soldier in Normandy. You start to envy the ones already lying still, and in the profound depths of your exhaustion, you understand that dark sentiment. In the foxholes, during the relentless rains, the water rises, a cold, muddy tide creeping up your body. You find yourself sleeping half submerged, the icy water reaching your chin, too tired, too defeated to even move. The chill seeps into your bones, but even that distinct discomfort seems distant, muted by the sheer weight of your weariness. Machine gun bursts, once terrifying, become a strange, almost hypnotic lullaby. Predictable, rhythmic, a relentless hammering that, paradoxically, can be almost soothing in its constancy. Your mind, seeking any anchor in the chaos, latches onto its pattern. Sometimes, in a desperate attempt to feel something real, something grounded, you light a cigarette in the pitch black. The brief orange glow illuminates your hands, allowing you to see if they are still shaking, if your body is still rebelling against the strain. It's a small, private ritual, a moment of stark self-assessment. The glowing ember is a tiny defiance against the vast darkness. Here, on the Western Front, the relentless fire and the crushing exhaustion blur the line between being truly alive and simply existing in a perpetual state of dreaming. You drift, pulled between the waking nightmare and the shadowed embrace of a sleep that offers little true rest. You are now in the Pacific, plunged into a world where the night is not a time for rest, but an entity alive with 1,000 unseen threats. The air is a thick, wet blanket, clinging to your skin, never allowing sweat to dry. You feel perpetually damp, your uniform heavy with moisture, your skin perpetually clammy. The jungle hums and whispers around you, a symphony of unseen life, the buzz of insects, the drip of water from colossal leaves, the rustle of unseen creatures. Every sound, every tiny disturbance is magnified, a potential harbinger of ambush from 1,000 directions. You learn to sleep in the mud, sometimes under a crude tarp that offers little protection, serving only to trap the suffocating heat and the relentless, buzzing clouds of mosquitoes. Their high-pitched whine is a constant torment, an inescapable presence. Sleep here is not a right. It's a gamble, a dangerous wager. To close your eyes, to allow your consciousness to drift, is to risk never waking. The jungle does not forgive inattention. Every branch snap, every faint rustle of leaves, sends a jolt of adrenaline through your weary frame, pulling you back to the razor's edge of alertness. Some men, in their desperate ingenuity, tie grenades to their ankles, the pins partially pulled, ready to detonate with any sudden movement. It's a crude, terrifying alarm system, a testament to the depths of paranoia and exhaustion. Others learn to sleep standing, their rifles serving as crutches, their bodies swaying with an eerie, ghost-like rhythm. Your dreams, when they penetrate the dense, humid air, feel as thick and wet as the jungle itself. You sweat through them, waking with your heart pounding, your mind still tangled in humid nightmares. Jungle rot is a cruel and constant companion. It eats through your socks, through the leather of your boots, and, inexorably, into your flesh. The skin on your feet and hands becomes a raw, weeping mess, a constant source of discomfort and pain. The rain falls for weeks on end, a relentless, deafening deluge that drowns out all other sounds, including, at times, your sanity. The world becomes a blurred, watery prison. The smell of decay, of rotting vegetation and unseen death, mixes with the intoxicating perfume of tropical flowers. It's a strange, unsettling paradox, beauty and horror breathing in the same humid air. You find yourself standing, breathing deeply, trying to reconcile these opposing forces. You remember one Marine, his face etched with weariness, confessing, "We fought the night more than the enemy." And you understand. The night here is a living, breathing adversary, always lurking, always watching. It is a foe that never truly sleeps, and therefore, neither can you. You are forever caught in its suffocating, buzzing embrace. Now, you are submerged, encased in a steel shell that feels less like a vessel and more like a floating coffin. You are a submariner, living a life defined by cold metal, the recycled breath of too many men, and the perpetual, unsettling hiss of machinery. The world above is a distant memory, replaced by the crushing pressure of the ocean and the eerie, artificial glow of red emergency lights. Sleep comes in short, fragmented bursts, always interrupted. It's a brief descent into oblivion, snatched between the shrill, piercing shriek of alarms and the rhythmic, almost hypnotic pinging of the sonar. Each ping sends a ripple through the hull, a reminder of the unseen dangers that lurk in the dark abyss outside. You lie in your bunk, a narrow shelf barely wide enough for your body, often pressed against a torpedo, its cold, smooth casing a constant presence. You dream, when the alarms allow, of explosions violent, internal bursts that you know, deep in your gut, you could never escape. Space is a precious commodity, rationed like every other resource. The bunks are stacked 3 or 4 high, barely separated. You learn to breathe shallowly, your lungs adjusting to the recycled, oxygen-starved air, which is as carefully rationed as the bullets in a rifle. Every movement is deliberate. Every shift of your body a conscious effort not to disturb the man in the bunk above or below you. Turning over becomes a complex maneuver, a careful, slow roll, knowing that an errant elbow or knee could easily wake another exhausted sailor. Then come the depth charges. They are not merely sounds. They are concussive blows that shake the entire submarine, rattling every bolt and plate. The force of the blast tosses your body like a rag doll in your narrow bunk, slamming you against the hard metal frame. You are instantly awake, adrenaline flooding your system, your heart hammering against your ribs. There is no sunrise here, no gentle progression from darkness to dawn, no natural marking of time. Only the unchanging red emergency lights, casting long, distorted shadows, marking a false internal time. You recall the words of one sailor, etched in a logbook. We live underwater, but we dream of falling. And it resonates with you. It's the constant fear, the knowledge that any structural failure, any depth charge too close, could send you plummeting to the crushing depths. You sleep with your boots on, always. A silent, unspoken acknowledgement of the constant danger, just in case. Though you know, deep down, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to go. When, eventually, you surface after days or weeks beneath the waves, the stars feel alien, distant, and impossibly bright. Looking up at the vast expanse of the night sky feels like looking up from the grave. A strange, disorienting reintroduction to a world you almost forgot existed. You are a part of a bomber crew, living a life suspended between the profound depths of exhaustion and the white-knuckled terror of combat. Your existence is defined by vast, open skies and the claustrophobic confines of a bomber's fuselage. Sleep is a fleeting whisper, snatched in the most unlikely of places. You collapse onto airfield floors, the cold concrete pressing against your weary body, the smell of aviation fuel heavy in the air. Or perhaps you lean against the vast, metallic skin of an engine in a hangar, feeling its residual warmth, hearing the faint echoes of its power. These are your temporary beds, your brief respites. In the air, high above the earth, the demands are constant, yet the body still cries for rest. You see your comrades, and perhaps even find yourself, closing your eyes mid-flight, trusting in the thrumming autopilot and the capricious whims of luck. Your dreams and the reality of your missions blur into one continuous, surreal experience. The fluffy white clouds outside the bomber's window transform into distant cities, shimmering and inviting, only to morph into the terrifying bursts of flak that erupt around you, blooming like malevolent fireworks. The roar of the engines becomes the constant soundtrack to both your waking and sleeping moments. Many of you keep your flight gear on, even in sleep, your heavy boots, your thick jacket, the pervasive smell of burnt fuel that clings to every fiber. It's a readiness, a silent ritual, an inability to fully detach from the demands of the sky. Between raids, you lie motionless, your body physically still, yet your ears still echo with the phantom roar of engines, the imagined chatter of the intercom, the distant sounds of flak. The silence, when it comes, is often more unsettling than the noise. Because it's a silence pregnant with expectation, a pause before the next surge of fear. One pilot, his eyes hollowed by countless missions, once said, "When the engines stop, you feel dead." And you understand that visceral connection. The engines are life, movement, purpose. When they cease, a part of you feels that cessation too. Fear doesn't allow for true rest. Adrenaline, a constant, insidious companion, replaces sleep, keeping your nerves frayed, your senses hyper-alert even when your body screams for oblivion. It's a dangerous chemical, burning through your reserves, leaving you hollowed out. You begin to see the stars, not as distant, peaceful beacons, but as falling bombs, arcing downwards, carrying destruction in their silent descent. The vast, endless sky, once a symbol of freedom, transforms into an immense open grave, a cold, indifferent expanse where countless friends have vanished. For you, the night never truly ends. It merely circles back at dawn, bringing with it the relentless cycle of missions, the terror of the sky, and the profound, unyielding exhaustion that follows you from the ground to the heavens and back again. Your dreams are just another flight path, looping endlessly. You are now intimately familiar with the desperate measures taken to outwit exhaustion. Sleep, once a natural necessity, becomes an enemy to be conquered, a weakness to be overcome. To keep soldiers awake, to push bodies beyond their natural limits, armies resort to chemistry. You swallow pills Benzedrine, Pervitin, and wash them down with endless, bitter cups of coffee. These are not comforts. They are tools, cold and clinical, meant to keep you moving, fighting, thinking, even when your body screams for release. Fatigue is not merely a physical state. It's treated as a moral failing, a lack of resolve. Sleep is the enemy. On the Eastern Front, you witness the chilling effects firsthand. German troops, fueled by these powerful stimulants, march for 3 days straight, their eyes wide and unblinking, their movements precise but devoid of human warmth. They are high, yes, but profoundly hollow, their souls seemingly leached away by the artificial energy. Their faces are gaunt, their expressions fixed, a disturbing testament to the drug's power. When the drugs wear off, the silence is not empty. It's filled with hallucinations, with distortions of reality. You see things that aren't there, hear whispers that are not spoken. The world around you shifts and morphs, blurring the lines between what is real and what is conjured by a mind pushed beyond its limits. Your grip on reality feels tenuous, slippery. Morphine, the powerful painkiller, is reserved for the wounded, a double-edged sword that offers a profound, blessed sleep, but often a sleep too deep, too final, to ever return from. It's the ultimate escape, but one few truly desire. Rum rations become sacred, small measures of warmth in liquid form, a temporary solace against the gnawing chill of fear and exhaustion. It offers a brief, blurred moment of respite, a numbing haze that allows the mind to drift, if only for a short while. But sleep, in this chemical night, is no longer natural. It is artificial, induced, and ultimately cruel. You feel your body rebelling against this constant manipulation, your nerves frayed, your senses distorted. You read the words of one medic, scrawled in a moment of desperate clarity, "We fought the war in doses," and you understand. Life, survival, combat, it all becomes a matter of precise chemical intervention. No one can tell dream from delirium anymore. The boundaries between conscious thought and drug-induced illusion dissolve. When the amphetamines run out, when the supply lines break, a profound emptiness descends. So too, it feels, does hope. The artificial energy dissipates, leaving behind an even deeper, more crushing exhaustion and a silent, terrifying void. Now, you shift your perspective, recognizing that the sleepless war extended far beyond the uniforms and the front lines. Civilians, too, shared these same agonizing nights, their homes transformed into battlegrounds of the mind. In London, you feel the rumble of the Blitz, a constant, terrifying symphony. You huddle with hundreds of others in the vast, echoing subway tunnels, the air thick with the smell of damp earth and confined bodies. Each minute stretches into an eternity as you count the seconds between the whistle of falling bombs and the earth-shaking thud of their impact. Children, with their incredible resilience, learn to sleep through explosions as if thunder were a normal, nightly occurrence. Their small, innocent bodies curl up on makeshift beds, their breathing surprisingly even amidst the chaos. But for their mothers, sleep is a luxury rarely afforded. You see their faces etched with worry as they lie awake, their eyes fixed on the ceiling above, silently praying that it will hold, that the concrete and steel above them will not suddenly collapse. Every creak, every groan of the old tunnels sends a fresh wave of dread through their hearts. In Berlin, the blackout curtains, thick and heavy, become more than just a shield against enemy planes. They become a veil, hiding not only the light from outside, but also the silent tears, the private terrors, the unspoken anxieties that fill the darkness within. The air in these darkened rooms is heavy with unspoken fears, the quiet weeping of a population under siege. And in Paris, under the shadow of occupation, the city sleeps in a profound, unnatural silence. This imposed quiet is another kind of insomnia, a heavy, suffocating blanket of dread that settles over every street, every home. The absence of noise is as terrifying as any explosion. Every night, the siren begins the same chilling symphony of dread. Its wail, long and mournful, is a visceral signal that the unseen enemy is approaching, that the fragile peace of evening is about to be shattered. You hear the scurry of feet, the hurried whispers, the clatter of doors closing as people retreat into their shelters. People stop dreaming of peace, of a return to normalcy. Their desires narrow, sharpen, focusing on one singular hope: they just want the night to end. They crave the first sliver of dawn, the reassuring light that promises, however briefly, a reprieve. Cities, once vibrant centers of life, become trenches made of brick and fear. Every building, every street corner, every shadow holds a potential threat, a reminder of the fragility of existence. The war, a monstrous entity, invades even their sleep, twisting their dreams, filling their minds with anxieties that refuse to dissipate even in unconsciousness. You witness this pervasive fear, this collective sleeplessness, and you understand that the war's reach is boundless, touching every soul, even those far from the roar of battle. And then, one day, the unimaginable happens. Peace comes. The guns fall silent. The sirens cease their mournful wail. The constant hum of engines fades. But the silence that replaces the cacophony is not a comfort. It is unbearable. It is vast, empty, and deafening. A profound void that echoes with the ghosts of sounds past. You wake in the night, your body still tensed, expecting the familiar shriek of sirens, the distant thud of bombs, the sharp crack of rifle fire, or the desperate screams of men. The quiet is a betrayal, an unfamiliar presence that makes your nerves hum. The softness of a pillow, once a longed-for luxury, feels alien, almost like a betrayal. Your body, accustomed to the hardness of earth, concrete, or metal, finds no comfort in its yielding embrace. For years, many, like you, find themselves unable to trust the softness, the comfort. You sleep on floors, on makeshift beds, anywhere that offers the familiar, unyielding embrace of hard ground. It is a psychological imprint, a physical scar from a war that ingrained discomfort as the norm. In your dreams, the war is still raging. You are back at the front, again and again, reliving the terror, the exhaustion, the loss. The images are vivid, relentless, refusing to fade with the dawn. Shell shock, once a term whispered in hushed tones, manifests itself in the restless legs that twitch uncontrollably in the dark, the grinding teeth that wear down enamel, the blank, distant stares that look through the present, lost in the past. Your body is home, but your sleep, your true rest, seems to have stayed somewhere on a battlefield, lost in the mud or the snow. One veteran, his voice heavy with the weight of years, once uttered a truth that resonates with you deeply. We left the war, but it didn't leave us, and you understand. The war's echo lives on, a phantom limb that aches in every nightmare, every sleepless night. The silence of peace is merely a thin veil over the roar of memory. For millions, the war, in its most insidious form, never truly ended. It simply moved from the battlefields of the world to the dark, private landscapes of their dreams. A conflict fought anew, night after night, in the restless depths of their souls. You drift now, listening to the soft sounds of your own peaceful night. And perhaps, for a moment, you can feel the quiet strength of those who fought in the sleepless war. For I think the spot is the first time we had snow, and the first time it was really winter out here. I was walking this path, and everything was ice and snow and it was so beautiful. And I think now it's kind of like when you're at home, when you put your little solitudes music on, or when I used to play my Ina and just kind of get in this other world where you relax and kind of forget about life for a while. I feel like this little path is a piece of that out here because it's always beautiful, and I don't regret at all not putting our houses closer because I always like walking this piece. And I've never once thought, wow, that's too far between our houses. So it's kind of nice just to have a little nice walkway, I guess. Keep going. Keep going. It's early November, and like most years on the prairie's winter has already settled in for a long stay. It's time to park the wagon because the wheels just aren't working well. In the snow, the pioneers have been looking for a sleigh, and the search has taken Tim to the Smith farm, a few kilometers south of the homestead. Ian, what would be the chance of this breaking? Yeah, Slim Toil, Slim Toil got a bolt here? How about if we were to put, Smith has agreed to rent an antique that's been in pieces for decades. Ian and Tim are putting it together to see if it will work. Nope, go bigger, bigger. Yep, oh my God. Two guys, my foot, Oh, thing is, we are told two guys could do it, but it's way too heavy for two guys. I don't know. We'll ever get her back on just SL it off now. Off is hitting there, the box turns out to be heavier than anyone imagined. Other neighbors are recruited to help with the lifting, and everyone is wondering whether it's going to work with the sleigh just about there here. Ari, can you go? Little bit, look at that, and it fits perfectly, absolutely perfectly, like it was what you get it all. It was totally made for this sleigh back in however many 100 years ago or something original. Christmas original brass brows, hard to find. When the work's done, Ian has a surprise for tin antiques, all right. Each little bell has a different sound. These bells will play an anthem for old times, a symphony of brass and hooves and leather. But for the pioneers, the sleigh is anything but sentimental. It will be an important tool for the 5 months of winter that lie ahead. You'll find old slavs like this in barns and back pastures everywhere on the prairies tucked away. Not because they're needed, but because they carry so many fine memories. Oh, this is really nice. This smooth, quiet. I can hear myself talk in the wagon. You can't hear anything soon as the wheels start to go. It's like a dream. I can't explain it. It is really a beautiful, peaceful feeling I see. What Deanna's reaction to the Bellry Christas sound like. Christmas ever cool, we just take walks and look in the trees, Frank said when he saw that one. He kept looking and he saw this time of the night. Yeah. Why, this is the time of the night? Get my glass here. Make sure you put your, I knows hap here, Partridge come. That's what she's supposed to do. Sit, come on. Good dog rattle, come get some blood away from me here. Let's see, good shot, what is it? Cartridge. Come on, L, this is your job. No way me. I keep away, nice big top hanging there. Yeah, there's the grass too, it's still hot. I was coming out to the well and I saw parches sitting up in the tree. They're really obvious now. All of a sudden, now that we have a lot of snow and there's no grass, there's no leaves. So I called thee, and she brought her gun out and blew it out of the tree. Look at that, see boys, I can do it. My boys, there we go. Go, we'll clean her all up. We can make a whole meal out of one of these. Yeah, that was delicious. Yeah, they got rice. How many do we have now? 5, great. Hey, we did it without those guys. Let's go deer hunting. Yeah, everywhere now. On the homestead, there's a Christmas card scene to enjoy. It makes it easy to forget. This is a working farm, and while most of the labors of summer are finished with winter, there's new work to do and debts to settle. Okay. This summer, we had you. One of the neighbors come over with his mow. It was a horse-drawn mow, period appropriate, and we had him mow our hay for us so that we could rake it and put it into haystacks. And in turn for that, we bartered that we would come back to his property and clear out all of the dead falls that are in the area so that he could eventually make it into pasture land as he has over here on the other side. So the neighbors are happy. We're happy while just about everyone else in Canada is moving inside. Pioneering is continuing in the great outdoors. there's no choice. Every passing week inches them closer to the bitter depths of winter in the outside world. Heating fuel is brought to your house by a high-tech pipeline. Here, staying warm is a matter of making your woodpile grow every day. It helps to be young and newly married to your sawmate. We do this so Frank can get his waist in shape. See when I landed it. Also helps to be older and still in love with your sawmate. But being older means it hurts a little more. By the end of the day, and in the back of your mind, there's always the worry that your partner will wear out before the wood pile is ready. This is Frank's latest obsession. He plays warrior log cutter. I came out and found him here, so watch him. He's a freak. He does a little thing and see how many he can get. Oh, honey, you man. You look at that. Things are getting a little boring out here. The old reliable wood block just doesn't cut it anymore. There's more going on than warrior log cutting. Tim has bagged a deer now. Frank is determined to get one too. They need the meat. But dusk is coming early these days, and the deer have retreated into the bush. It's become a test of their tracking skills. We've just been, following the tracks. There's lots of tracks I found in here. We got a bed here. One was laying down probably last night. Up ahead here where I'm going to sit, there's a whole bunch of trails that all come together, and they're pretty frequently used. You gotta be careful, 'cause on the other side there's regular rifle hunters over there, so just like to stay enough in the bush to stop any stray bullets. Well, tonight I went out hunting, and I went to a spot I've never been before. Just before dark, a doe came out, and I got ready, right about to shoot at it, and the buck stepped out, this huge buck, so I waited until it got within range, and it was a perfect shot. I set up my gun, I fired, and I just went click. The cap didn't go off. The buck took off, the doe took off. I didn't get either, so it really pissed me off. It makes you, think of when you go home, you want to use every modern convenience you can that makes life easier in a way. Like especially when something comes to hunting or something like that. It makes you kind of pissed off. You don't get to use the technology other people get to use. Well, I was just walking back from deer tracking with Indiana, and I noticed my husband's been thinking about me. It's pretty sad experience the past, like never before with history hits award-winning original documentaries and Adri podcasts with our expert historians like Dan Snow, Susanna Lippam, Lucy Worley, Mary Beard, Tristan Hughes, and myself, Matt Lewis. Sign up for an exclusive discount using the link in the description and embark on your historical journey from the wonders of ancient Egypt and the life of an Baron to the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte and the discovery of Shackleton's endurance. Get history wherever. Whenever exclusively on History Hit. 30 Kelba high, -26, extreme wind chill. Near 2200 with hazardous frostbite conditions for tonight, mainly clear low. -35, very high wind chills near 2100 for Monday. Chilly cold night last night. Yeah, it was a chilly night for them too. Nice in the cabins. All really nice. We only stoked up once. We tried an experiment last night with a wood stove. We are told if we piled the ashes and the coals right all over on top of the wood when we put them in, just pack it right in, that it drives the heat down in your stove, doesn't let it go up the chimney. And I think it worked, because it was really nice. Yeah, it got a little cool this morning, but we hadn't stocked up for about 5 hours, I guess. Yeah, so it was really cold. And we got up this morning's. It's warming up in there now. The wind was fine, yet yesterday we worked inside all day on the horse shelter, and we pretty well froze all day because of the wind. The minute we'd step out of the wind, out of the trees, we'd just freeze, so we nearly had frostpoint and everything yesterday, but we warmed up. So we're okay. We're lucky, because a lot of it was in the trees we found out this weekend, and last people were just teasing us. But I don't think they were. They said, Farmer's Almanac is wrong for the first time, I don't know how many years, or admitting they're wrong and predicing the coldest winter in how long? 26 years or something. They've actually redone their schedule for the winter, and they now to say it's going to be the coldest, not the warmest winter. So normally we cry about something like that. We just started laughing because that's just something we would expect here. They said there's probably average temperatures of 45, so this whole thing is like just a weather challenge. That's what this year is, one big extreme to the next. So what are you doing? We realize that down below the bottom of the house here, where there's mow, the floorboards meet the outside. Cold air's been getting in, and you can see the light from the inside at night. So I'm just stuffing little bits of moss. It's kind of hard to get out in here just to plug it up. And it should help a lot. It should keep the floor from getting so cold too. You'll notice that I just put a tarp down under the bed. I nailed it down, and I thought that will stop some drafts from coming from under the bed. It's really cold under there all the time. Our fridge, I pulled some beets out. They're frozen, so I cut up a wool blanket and put a couple layers on the bottom of the fridge, and one in the back wall. You can see along the back wall here, all the ice that's starting to form. This is the corner that's far away from the stove. We are contemplating even putting wool blankets lining the entire inside of our cabin with wool blankets to stop the drafts. And we might do that. Well, probably just around the bed. We're thinking, because we get a lot of cold air, like back here, and our pillows freeze. Like last night, you turn your head and you touch a part of your pillow and you just freeze. Oh, it was so cold. If you had a spot, you didn't want to leave it. Yeah. So, but see, that's why the tokay was nice. I didn't get cold ears. I just pull it down further. This is the Bohr Element School. These are some of the students that I take to school every day. Part of them, how are you doing? Are you getting to be very skinny? That's where I started when I came here. You are skinnier. You're probably healthier, are you? I'm really healthy. It's wonderful just about this. The homestead is closed to the general public. But for one morning, it's open to these special visitors because a part of this is a part of them. Good. How was it that was weird? These school kids all live just north of the homestead. But for most, this is as close as they will ever come to the life lived by their great-great-grandparents in the 19th century. Without your safer ran? Not too far, baby, is near to the well. I love my horses, so I kiss them to get them going. You don't believe it. Now you don't believe that. Let's see you kiss them. They love it. It was cool. It was very good. It was like it wasn't what we expected. Yeah, this is cool. You think about these guys. Hard workers was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Good. And it was cool. It was... Now, I know that it's really hard behind the scenes. There's trouble. Tim never complains, but today he says he's sick. In fact, he says it feels like someone is kneeling on his chest. Early the next morning, Dr. Tim McDowell arrives. Hello. He works in the emergency room of Winnipeg's Grace Hospital at the production company's request. He's dropped everything to take a look at Tim Treadway. A search of the bush leads him to the pioneers. They're celebrating. Frank has just shot a deer. We think there's something wrong with it. Could you please maybe give us a diagnose, not moving? So you got one, a long wait for this one. Yeah. I've been hunting forever, I think. August 25th. Well, at least it's worth all the cold nights. We not get all the cold times we spent sitting in a blind freezing well. D. And I ended up walking almost to the same area, and we started giving each other hand signals of where each other should go. Yeah, Dee was giving me this finger. And so I knew I was supposed to go in the other direction, and then she pointed to one that she thought there was one there, and it ran through the bush, and as it came through the bush, it stopped just inside the trees, and I shot, so I was really surprised I got it. So it was good. Congratulations. Thank you, full-fledged hunter. There we go. We eat this winter, Mom. I won't starve now. Don't have to worry anymore. Well, we were going to just continue on, prop this one up and go do another one. You better see the doctor. I got the doctor here, so I'll just have him follow me along when he collapses. You can do something there. I wasn't feeling good at all. I went to bed about 6, our time. And I just had this real, like someone was kneeling on my chest, and I didn't know if I had fever or if I had, well, I knew I had a fever and then chills. And you just don't know. We were supposed to be warm or cold. And it wasn't pain. It was just a pressure. It's a slow walk back to the homestead. Tim has to stop and rest. He can no longer hide just how sick he's feeling. And with each pause, Dr. McDowell becomes more and more concerned. Fever kills. Get me before I die. How far could you walk? Without stopping 50 FT, something like that. What'd it feel like? Just winded. Right now, I'm feeling sweaty, and I shouldn't be. I mean, it's a cold wind, and I'm not dressed overly warm. I'm just got a little bit on. Now, what would happen if we waited for, say, a week? I just kind of rested around the cabin, and I don't want to predict what would happen. The reluctant patient, there's enough concerns I have from what's been going on that I don't think it's necessarily just from an infection, and I think we should get you checked out in the hospital today, and hopefully it's just an infection that we can clear up with some antibiotics, but I think we need to check it out. Well, it's quite an emotional thing to leave, okay? I understand, and the reality is in the 1870s, people get like this and they would die. That's not acceptable these days. As much as you guys want to be here and do this, I don't think it's worth dying for, or worth getting really, really sick for. I've got some concerns about one of the guys out here. He's been having some exertional chest pressure. He said, I want you in today. He said, there might be something more serious than happening. Can I go? Nope, I don't want you to go. No, you're not coming. Bye-bye. Why? It's hard. This feels so strange. I'm in a different world. He's a pretty tough guy. I mean, was he giving you a rough time about coming out? I know it's not happy about that. I'm sure he'll be not happy at all. Quite emotional about it, actually. But I think as stoic as Tim is the fact that he agreed to come without too much arm twisting. I think he really feels worse than he's letting on. What's the verdict? Well, at this point in time, they had a little bleep on the EKG, so it didn't look too good. But they did another test, and I think it was just my muscles that were contracting because of my coughing and lungs, that's what I'm hoping. And then, right now, I'm just hoping the doctors will find nothing and they'll say, get out of here. And go back to where it's healthier. Too many germs around here, and so they haven't found anything really definite yet. So hopefully they'll be able to send me home soon. I guess. You can see why people would just on as homesteaders, they don't want to leave. Yeah, I'll die here, but I don't want to leave that idea. I remember my grandfather, my actual grandfather, the story about him when he was about 45, and he was, when he went to the hospital for the first time, he walked to the hospital and he turned to his friend that walked him there and he said, you look after my family, I won't be coming back, and nobody knew that he was so sick. And he died. Well, he's going to a intensive care unit so that they can keep monitoring them overnight to make sure that nothing serious has happened and that there's a possibility of a viral infection. Feel badly for him, because I know this is not something think he's going to be happy about at all. He will feel he's failed somehow, and of course he hasn't at all, and I know that's not something that he will feel good about at all. Oh man, when he left, I think part of my heart left. I didn't realize. I mean, he might just be there a day or two. We don't know. But I really come to realize how much these last few months have meant to both of us, how we've really bonded as a team. And it's a lonely night for me tonight, to be here all by myself. And my goodness, it must have been really hard for people back then when somebody did get sick. And of course, they didn't have hostiles like Tim was able to go to today, or medicines that we have. And anyhow, I don't know what the next few days will bring, but you can bet your boots I'll be praying for my husband, Dwight. Poyana, she's just waiting right now. It's what, maybe 11 in the morning, and we're just waiting for news. Really frustrating, yeah. She doesn't know anything. I mean, that's all she heard. I don't think her boys know what's going on, yet they were going to wait. Maybe let them know today, fine, when they know what's going on with him. I mean, I feel terrible about it, and it's weird not knowing. I can't imagine how she feels right now about it. It's going to be really tough. So, I guess we just wait now and see what happens, and hope he's okay. They said he was laughing and joking and kidding around yesterday, of course. And, I hope he's giving the nurses a hard time. I'm sure he is. And we were bugging him, saying, get a bed bath if you can too, eat all the gel you can. So, I would probably eat better than hospital food anyway. So yeah, Dean and I were saying, Bet, you help some our food. Imagine that he'll miss my scrambled eggs and pancakes, so hopefully he gets better and he gets back here soon, back to the four of us again. Hi, how you doing by yourself? Yeah, well, what can I say? I founded the doctor this morning and the doctor told me they haven't made a diagnosis yet. What, no? And they want to do 2 tests, and the 2 tests, will keep him there till the middle of the week. What kind of tests? He didn't tell me what the tests are, but they're tests to make sure that there's no heart problem. He was not feeling well. I still had chest pains, but he was feeling a lot better, but he's still coughing. And so does he have a viral infection. Well, that's the other thing. He may well have one, but that would not keep him away, right? They haven't found out yet whether he has one or not. So these 2 tests are important, and if he doesn't get through them, then he would not be allowed to come back, period. So, because it would mean there was a heart problem, so why couldn't he come back? Settlers had heart trouble. Well, they wouldn't want him to, because they would want to treat it, or he would have to do certain things to treat it. And the stressful environment here would not be good. I can work, no, the cow this morning, no way, we're not leaving. That's what he said. No, you can have that. On camera, we're not leaving. I mean, this is hard. I mean, now I'm not only separated from my kids, my husband. You kind of wonder what you're doing out here, but hopefully he'll be all right. And I'm sure he probably will be. What about leaving? Never. No, it's not in our minds, We committed ourselves for this, and no matter how hard it is, we'll stick it through the settlers had to do, whether the people got sick or not, Just because somebody's sick, you don't just throw in the whole towel, and I'm still strong, and we'll still be able to do what we have to do here, so no, not even thinking about it right now. Tim has been in the hospital for 5 days, and the doctors are hinting that he may be too sick to come back. Frank and Elena are wondering whether they'll be left alone on the homestead again. They keep the Treadway's wood stove going while the production company takes Dina to the hospital. She wants to see Tim and get the story from the doctors firsthand. Jay Hamilton. Yeah. It turns out that there's a problem there. He's got to be prepared to deal with that as well. What do you mean by a problem? If it turns out he's got some heart disease that may need attention, and if it is heart disease, what does that mean? Well, it depends on how severe it is, and what the cardiologist arteries, that would mean blocked arteries, and the question is, how blocked? So we have 24 hours to find out tomorrow. The doctors will test Tim's heart, and the Treadway will know whether their pioneering days are over. And the heart specialists have examined Tim, and after 8 days in hospital, he finally has the answer he's been waiting for. Well, let's get out of here, but what a feeling, when in the operating room. Or the test room, deathly quiet. And then these doctors who'd been very professional, very sophisticated, just kind of let out to yell, no blockages. Let's get out of here then. I'm really excited about going back. I'm excited about going back with a clear bill of health in my heart and just a matter of a little bit of time to get my lungs in shape and I'll be in 100% home is where the heart is. And my heart is very much out in the homestead, and especially with my wife being there and the rest of the team, Frank Atlanta and our life there. The doctors say, Tim's heart is fine. He has pericarditis, a virus that affects the lining around the heart. It's good to be back. Tim is home, but the doctors have warned him that he'll be too weak to hunt or do much work for a long time. The others will have to take up the slack home. Sweet, what you thinking there? There's that question again. Oh, it's just so good to have him back. Perfect 70E. What time is it milking? So is it cold out? Oh, is it cold milk warm? As you may notice, I'm milking on the left side of Daisy. We've been here 6 months now. Never realized that there was one side to Milan cows, like the right. Sighed until the first movie was out and all the farmers told us before. This nobody ever told us that cows like the one side. But this dumb cow likes either side, doesn't matter. There's 4 of us milking her. We all do it differently, all 4 sides. All 4 sides. Boy, working for a dentist sure was a lot easier than this. Now it's just a matter of rest and getting the body recuperated this morning. I went out to the barn, picked up the pitchfork, and took 1 shovel of manure out to the manure pile and had a back in. That was all the work I could do for this morning. So, a lot of it, Diana's gonna have to do a lot of it. And I guess as a pioneer, it was a lot of hard work for the women, or the man, whichever, had to carry the load of the spouse. It's really cold this morning. I think it's about, when I got up, the first thing this morning was about minus 30 degree F, which I think is about 35 degrees C. I think the temperature's gone up a little bit in the last hour, yeah? You can see it's about as 26 or something now. Our windows, as usual, are iced up. But right now, for some reason, they've got these really neat designs all over them like branches. Yeah, it looks really neat. Well, today we're getting ready to put the ceiling on. It's mid-December, and the pioneers are stuck in a cold snap. Tim and Deanna are struggling to keep their cabin warm. They've purchased a tarp to lower the ceiling and trap the heat. Well, I guess we ordered it. The right size seems to fit, and it seems like our house is square. 'Cause this is a square tar ready to go, guys. So what are you doing here? I'm just gonna build another wall like this, right here. And then I'm gonna put a door on the front. 'Cause we lose a lot of our heat. It got cold pretty quickly, actually. It was 35, I think, yesterday morning. So it went down pretty fast, but I don't know. I think we're all dreading the cold, but it's not as we're dreading the minus 30 days coming, but it has been not bad, so we've all been able to keep relatively warm, and we haven't been spending too much time outside, except for today I am. But put out, we usually wear so many clothes anyway, that we usually keep warm, so I've got, 5 layers on underneath here. So able to keep semi-warm, have problems with fingers and toes, they keep you warm. But so how's the myling going? Good. She look actually right. Good. Good. I was surprised. See you. It's so cold. How you guys been handling the weather? Great. I walked to church yesterday morning, 36 below. How far away is that? 2.5 miles. Any concerns about well, we were. But no, the barn is real warm. It's not even cold in there. It's pretty good. I'll tell you. Oh boy, Jeff, you told me you coming. Nobody would see me this morning, except poor Daisy. I keep my fork inside here because the handle freezes and you can't flip the let's go see how the well is. Saturday night was cold. Our fire did go out. I hadn't stoked up the coals enough, and so the air wasn't coming through. So for about an hour and a half, we didn't have a fire going. And you could see your breath. In fact, I looked at the bed and the hot air was just rising out of the bed. Yes, I wondered yesterday morning. And we opened the barn door, she'd still be alive. But she was fine now. The chickens aren't laying, but they're still alive. They're not dead. They're doing fine. They're actually looking real good. There you go. They're pretty frosty. Oh, it's hard to get out of bed. You think you gotta go out in that cold, but just your pails are frozen, it's just that thing, but I haven't found it more difficult, What, to be honest, because I love the winter. I actually love the cold. Tim and I are trappers. We have a trapper's cabin way up in the bush, and actually I love it. I really do. I prefer the winter, really. I know it sounds crazy, but as long as I'm warm, as I'm going outside, I'm fine. I love it. It's what I thought it would be. And it's actually 30. Is more bearable than I thought, because we put all our layers on. And it's not so bad. No, it's more I think it's more the psychological part. If boredom really hits, or if we get stir crazy, we just have to make ourselves go out and do stuff. Or we fight with the neighbors. Yeah, we fight with the Joneses. Here's Atlanta trying to get the last-minute Christmas gifts done. I've made a total mess here making boxes. But it's hard to work outside. It's kind too cold for the fingers. Well, it's the night before Christmas Eve, and my wonderful husband is doing my laundry for me. I've been wearing my long GS, I think for 5 days in a row. And I wanted them clean for tomorrow, and of course, I'm trying to finish last-minute Christmas stuff, so Frank's doing the laundry. What a guy, what a butt. Oh, honey, what a dandruff, got them done. Honey, they're beautiful, yeah, it's Gauss. So, we've, stitched the envelopes together. You want to show them? Yeah, we did them kind of different. And then I'm not as fancy, so I just kind of wrote pressed leaves in the fall, and we've got rose hips here, so we made candles, and then we've got homemade soap. It took several hours to make, and we've got a PO holder each. T. It's funny that we said we hit the Christmas rush out here, though. Like last night we were up late, and the last few days we're panicking to get this stuff done. We thought, oh my goodness, it's a settler basket rush, and we should have started earlier. That was weird. Doesn't mean more when you do it yourself. Or is that just a myth? Oh, I think so. Oh, it does. I mean, if we had gone out and bought a bouquet of flowers for these folks, it wouldn't have meant as much to us. I hope that it will mean something to them. You'd have to do. They can give it back to us, 'cause we like them. Yeah, come on, real Scott. When we wearing a kill today, the arrival of some neighbors completes this pioneer Christmas Eve. I'm Alahi, I'm Bob, how are you? They've brought the Scottish traditions of the Argyll district to the Homestead CL here. Kyle, nice, look at that. I got now, why is that? It's part of a sing called Lang, which means long may your chimney smoke, meaning good luck. In other words, good life in the upcoming year. Do you guys want some wine first? Got any scotch? You got some here? Yeah, we've got some other stuff for you too. I'll leave it right there if anyone's You guys have some. What do? Just drink her straight from there, a belly straight, give her a try, go. Yeah, all I have to do is smell it. I'm sure it's a miniature. Come on, a real spot, that'd be no problem at all. Gotta walk to the truck and drive home. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Hap New. Merry Christmas. Me, Urel out. No, Frank, it's your turn as the afternoon wears on the years. Fall away, more and more. It becomes Christmas as it was. The merit handmade and heartfelt she waltzes a lot better than I wall. I do too many stupid things. Thank you. Was fun. Thank you for the dance. Oh, thank you. I'll save you on a what? What do I get? ABC I give you. Oh, my Merry Christmas. Thank you for coming. Nice to meet you. Absolutely. All right. See you again. All right. See you. The pioneers want to drop off a few gifts for their closest neighbors. It's become a Christmas for the old-timers, a Christmas they'll talk about in years to come. Day after day of bitter cold. They'll say the coldest December in 120 years. I didn't get to hug either, but I hugged everybody else. Oh well, Merry Christmas note. 9. You can't come here. Hey, you guys are talk guys. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas-ny. Stay here. They need lots of credit for what they've done, boy. You know, it hasn't been this cold and this much snow for so many years. This early in seas, you guys have to pick the worst year to pick the year with a race. Last year, the year before. We never had snow like this. At Christmas, the fields were still black. It has become a fitting end to a year in which Mother Nature has played every practical joke she knows a year. To remember, the old-timers say, true pioneers are tough. It was that way in the beginning, and it's still that way. Merry Christmas, CH. What do you get for Christmas? Look at my little Christmas present, Smokey the kitty. Is she the cutest thing you've ever seen? Frank went and got her this morning from the neighbor's house. I was dying for this kitty and you wouldn't let me have it. Oh, she's still shaking 'cause Frank had her in the cold. She's so cute. I can't believe he got her for me. It's the best present I could ask for. Well, we nom the kitty. It's not Smokey. It's Kai, and Frank just made her this new cat toy. He tied an acorn. Or what is that pine cone? Acorn. He tied a pine cone up on her basket. She loves it well. Did I have a good night tonight today? I boiled 6 pots of snow to wash my hair, and I feel glorious. I feel like $1,000,000. Cold source, doesn't matter. Look at my hair. It's better than organic shampoo.